Welcome to the Python tutorial, lecture 13, for loop in Python. In previous lecture, we saw that if statement and its example, if else statement and its example, and if elif else syntax and its example. In this lecture, we will learn to iterate over a sequence of elements using the different variation of for loop. So let's start with the for loop in Python. In for loop in Python, it is used to iterate over a sequence like list, tuple, and string. First of all, let's see the syntax of the for loop. What the syntax of the for loop is like: for and value in sequence. After that, it is body of the for loop. So here the value is the variable that takes the value of the item inside the sequence on each iteration. Loop continues until we reach the last item in the sequence. The body of a for loop is separated from the rest of the code using identification. Now let's take an example for that. First of all, I have to give a list. Here I use a number, then give a list. If I give the random list here and I want to perform a find a sum of all number stored in that list, so let's do that operation. Now first I assign the list number is equal to randomly give the list. Now I have to go for the sum, so I have to define sum first of all 0, then iterate over list. We go for that for loop. For the for loop, how we can write? We have to go for the for, then value in the particular list, the list is number. Then okay, don't forget this one. After this you have to perform the operation. What you want to perform here, you want to sum of the all numbers stored in that list. So I have to write sum is equal to sum plus value in that number of list. After that, what you want to print this number, print go for that outside this, print parenthesis. What you want to print? The sum of the list is. Now I have to pass the value. Now if I run this program, first of all it will give that particular list is the sum of the list is 222 for this number of list. So here the for value, it will take that particular list and sum one by one and print that total amount of that sum. Now let's take some another example in that for loop. Just I delete this. For loop you can also go for the range equation. For the range function, for the how you can use a range. So range function, we can generate the sequence of number using range function. Now let's, if I take print a range of then value 10. Now it will go for the 0 to up to 9. So now you have to want to print the range in the format of the list. So print in parenthesis list. After that you have to go for the range range of 10. It will print the 0 to 9, that particular range of 10 in list form. If you want to do if you want to give a particular range here, if I give here 1,7, so we can also define the start and stop position. Here the start and stop position I define, and if I run this command, it will print the particular range between 1 to 6. Now if I go for that another method of the range with the help of the step size, if I want to print 1 to 20, but if I want to use a step size 2 here, so step size here the starting point, stopping point, and the third defined step size, it will print 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 15, 17, and 19. Starting from 1 to end is 20, and step size is 2 here. So now let's take that range function in the particular example, the program to iterate through a list using indexing. If I go for that example for the music system, if I use generate for GEN, I just go for that, give the particular list, and I use write pop pumping music, pumping sound for the pop. Then if I go for another thing is let's take as a rock music. After that, if I another go for that jazz also, if I take, I simply just give the particular list. Now if you want to print all of three by using range function, how you can go for that using for loop, let's see. So that you have to go for that for, then if I use val is here is I in, then range function I use, and the length function means total length of particular list, and I have to pass which length, here the length for the GN generate. After that, what you want to print the body for the for loop, here I want to print parenthesis I like, then pass its value here from that list. I have to pass the value here, the we use I, so here I have to write I for that value. Now if I run this program, so it will print I like pop, pumping sound, rock music, and jazz. So here that I value, it will take that everything from the list. Here the range will use for that function, and length will define total number of particular variable and this list, and G and I will print particular variable from the list. Now let's take another example for the for loop. First of all, I just delete this. If we want to use for loop with else, how we can go for that? First of all, let's take an example here. Go for that digit. If I take and pass any value in that particular list, 2, 4, 8, 9, and if I want to use the for loop with else function, A for loop can have optional with else block. Here the else part is executed if the items in the sequence used in for loop is exhausted. If I go for that for loop, first of all use for, then value. Here I use I for that, then in. From where you want to take, here I want to take from the digit list, so I use dig for that. After that, what you want to print, here I want to print this I from that list, means the number which I give from that list. After that, if I go for that else statement, else that what you want to print here, if the condition is the list is exhausted, no item is left. So if I run this program, so it will, first of all it will print I, so from this particular list it will print 2. After that again it will go for that list 5, then 8, and then 9. Once the particular list is over, after that it will go for the else condition, and that after that it will print no item is left. Every item in the particular list is printed. So that's all for the today's lecture. In the next lecture we will see the while loop in Python. Thank you.